If you'll notice on my homepage, when I log into navigate, what my system shows is that I'm on the staff home page. But if I want to submit a progress report for a student registered in the class that I'm teaching, I need to go in and change to the professor homepage. So I make that change, and then my classes, the courses that I'm teaching this semester, show up. And I can then go in, and to the right of each section that I'm teaching, there's a link that says progress reports. So I can click on that link to pull up the course and the roster of students in the class. And so on this next page, what you'll notice is that there's this long statement that says use the checkboxes to select students, and they just have it as plural, students from your classes, and then click the create a new progress report option from the actions drop down to begin adding a new progress report. It's a whole lot of words. What I would say to you is if you have the same concern for multiple students, then by all means check multiple students at one time and just submit that same concern. However, if you have a different concern for different students, then you need to enter them one by one. But real quickly, I can go down, I can select the checkbox next to a student's name, and then come up to the actions button and then create a new progress report, and it pulls up this pop-up. And I want to certainly say that I'm concerned about the student's academic performance. And then I want to show or indicate which reasons. I can select as many as I'm concerned about. So if the student has missed an exam, and then if the student has poor performance on assignments, or the student also has excessive absences, I can put all of those in no particular order. And then if the student has a certain number of absences that I'm concerned about, I want to enter a number here. And it's important that you put a number in here if you want it counted. So the actual number 6, instead of spelling out SIX, is important, because if it's not a number, then it gets kicked out and I can't measure it. So that's why that statement is there, that we just want numbers only. And then grades, so the absences are not required, grades are not required, but it's helpful information if you have it, because then we can measure any changes from the point of the report to the end of the semester. And so we love to go in and see if students made a positive change that got a progress report, or if there was a negative change or no change. So we're looking at all of that. And then, of course, in the comments section, if I'm going to put in comments, I want to make sure that I'm putting in my concern about the student's behavior. The students are not emailed this information. So when they receive the email as a result of this progress report, they are not given the comments. However, if a student requests all of their records from the university, then they can see the comments. And so my advice is to always just stick to the behavior that you're concerned about. So if the student is, showing up late to class, then just put in the student is showing up late to class. Not, you can leave out, well, I think the student is sleeping in, so just the behaviors. And that was just a very crude example, but just let us do our best to make sure we're just focusing on the behavior that we're concerned about. And then, of course, we click on submit the report. The email goes out to the student immediately. And then, of course, we get information as a result. And as we're looking at students who especially get multiple progress reports, then we begin to try our best to make sure that students are aware of the resources that we offer. We want them, especially if they have multiple progress reports, we want them to come in and meet with someone, whether it's in a learning lab or have an individual meeting with someone on our staff here. But we really want to make sure that students are aware that there is support. Thank you for all you do for our Baylor Bears. Have a great day.